The Lightning season ends in a game they only gave up 9 shots. Hello everyone and welcome back to Bolts Breakdown in Tampa Bay Sports Daily. Again, I apologize for the lack of content this week. It's getting really busy here in college, finals are coming up and stuff, but I've been trying to cover this team as best as I can, and now it's the offseason. That's frustrating. Lightning lose 2-0 in Game 7 to the Montreal Canadiens in what was one of the best first-round series I have seen in a very, very long time. And this one's going to be a tough one as well because of all these games being so close. And I'll get more into that when we get to our actual breakdown, beyond past the recap. But it's never a good feeling when you get eliminated in the first round and you have a team with such high expectations. But getting into this breakdown, Lightning dominated the first period, really, I believe, personally. They outshot them 9-3 in the first period. Holy crap. 9-3 in the first period, and just never could get really any offense going. Didn't allow the Canadiens to get any offense going, And just the only goal of that period was Nick Suzuki on a tip that hit J.J. Moser in the leg. Vasi never would have stopped this. Like, it was a long shot, looked like it was going to be off the net. It goes off Moser's leg, off the post, and you're just like, okay, it's going to be that kind of game. It's going to be that kind of game where the first goal of the game is like that, and it just doesn't necessarily upset you, but makes you feel like anxious because you're like, how many of those are they going to get? And so Lightning, I believe, dominated the first period. They had 9 shots, a power play in there. Didn't really allow the Canadiens to get sustained chances, and that didn't happen. That happened for most of the game. Lightning didn't allow the Canadiens to get really any chances in this game, and just moving on to the second period, Lightning again dominate, out shooting the Canadiens 14-0, and that is not a joke. That is the first time in Canadiens history that they were held to no shots in a playoff game in a period. And the Lightning got the only goal on the power play. Dominic James gets on the board, and that made it 1-1. A nice tip from James, and I felt really good at this point. I was like, okay, we're dominating, we're pushing, we're not really allowing them to get any chances. And then third period, same story. Lightning just bringing the pressure. And then about midway through, it's Alexander Newhook on a tip. On a, not tip, but like he bats it out of midair. It goes off Vasi's back, off his glove, and then you're just like, how is that going to be the winning goal? Lightning push back. They get a lot of good chances in the final couple minutes, but can't get the equalizer, and they lose 2-1 in a frustrating game. I mean, when you dominate so much like the Lightning did last night and don't win, it's frustrating even in the regular season. But when that happens in a Game 7 of Round 1 of the playoffs, it's even more frustrating because it just means you didn't have the hockey gods in the corner. I love what John Cooper said. He said that, John Cooper said, the hockey guys have been in our corner so many times, and just tonight they were in the other corner, and sometimes that's just the way it will be. 4 straight first-round exits obviously don't feel good, but I feel like our fan base right now is jumping to way too many conclusions. Like, Kucherov in the playoffs is a problem. I agree with them there, but firing Cooper, firing Breezeball, just cleaning house is not the best option for this team. This team still has a good core that can produce. Nikita Kucherov produced 130 points. That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable number of points. And it's just frustrating because, it's a fan base is so used to winning that now that they've been eliminated in the first round for 4 straight seasons, it's a bit of a snag. They went to 3 straight Stanley Cups, and now they've been eliminated 4 times in the first round. It's like, That they got used to being so good that it's hard to see them struggle a bit. And the East is not getting any easier. That's the problem, and that is why I see Canadians. They just beat them. They're young. Anaheim, Flyers are young. Hurricanes are gonna be a problem. Buffalo's young. Senators are young. Boston. We will see if that was a fluke season for them. But Red Wings, even, they were just outside a playoff spot. The Maple Leafs, can they come back? The Atlantic Division, just the Eastern Conference, is so stacked right now. It's going to be tough to tell how next season's going to go for the Lightning. But the people saying that they need to break up this core are straight up wrong. That is not what you need, and not necessarily like what this team needs. I mean, if you watch that series, that was the most even series we've seen in a first round in years. I mean, every game was decided by a goal. Just that you don't see. That every game was decided by a goal. And it's just insane that a team only had a 2-goal lead for 5 minutes of that series. 5 minutes of the entire 7-game series. A team only had a 2-goal lead for 5 minutes, which is just mind-boggling. And that 2-goal lead was in Game 4, a game that the Lightning came back and won. So it was just a wild series. 4 overtimes. I mean, first 3 games go to overtime. Like, you can't be upset with how they played the last 2 games. Yes, you can be upset about their Game 5 performance. They did not play well at all. They were chasing all game long. And when in the biggest moments, you look for your stars to step up, but you also look for your young guys, and that is what happened in Game 6 and Game 7. Gage Gonzalez and Dominic James getting the 2 goals. Very unexpected. Both have great futures, and I have a little video series to announce later on that I'm going to cover on them. But when you have those guys producing, it's really good, but when your big-name guys aren't, it's like, what can you do? You know? And losing a Game 7 like this, I keep saying it's annoying, frustrating. You can put any word on it, and it's true. But I think the Lightning need to keep their heads high because they played fantastic. They played a almost perfect hockey game. They literally did. But sometimes just the hockey guys are not in your corner, and that is what happened last night. They were in Montreal's, and sometimes that's just how hockey is. Well, that's going to do it for this recap of Game 7 of the first round. I hope you guys enjoyed our Lightning coverage this year. We'll definitely have a lot more next year. I make a promise on that. But we'll have our season recap tomorrow. Just covering the whole season, players who I thought stood out, and breaking down what I think is going to happen in the offseason, because it will be an interesting offseason. So we'll see y'all in the next video.